I'd like to start by sharing a few quotations and introduce myself to a couple latecomers. Hi, my name is Laura Reed. I am president and director of education of the church, and every now and then they allow me to speak from up here, which is always such a great honor for me. So, life is never easy. There's work to be done and obligations to be met, obligations to truth, to justice, and to liberty. That's from John F. Kennedy. Life is a succession of lessons which must be lived to be understood. That's Helen Keller. Life is really simple, but men insist on making it complicated. It's Confucius. Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. Albert Einstein. Life is like a coin. You can spend it any way you wish, but you only spend it once. That's Lillian Dixon. Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you respond to it. Charles Swindoll. Nice. Life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. That's John Lennon. Mm-hmm. Let us pray. Father, Mother God, we are grateful to be living in a place and time with so much potential. We are grateful to be in a country with more freedoms than most, and we are grateful for your constant and loving presence in our lives. We give you praise by repeating the prayer that our brother Jesus taught. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. So this morning I'd like to invite you to pretend that there is someone here, obviously not me, who can answer any question that you have. Someone who has access to all the wisdom of the universe. Someone who sees beyond what most humans see and knows the answers to the great questions of the universe. Think for just a moment about what you'd ask that person. So after you ask what the winning lottery numbers are, what's your next question? For many, many people, that question is, what is my life's purpose? What am I here for? I've heard it said that this is an extremely common question asked to professional psychics or readers. And I know the first time I had a question to ask that, the first time I had an opportunity to ask that question of a friend who channeled some very high spirit entities and knew the answers to God, the universe, and everything. That was the question I asked. What is my life's purpose here? And the answer was, just keep doing what you're doing. Which was extremely frustrating. It's like, what thing in particular should I be doing more of, perhaps? Just keep doing what you're doing. And over the years, I asked that question several times. And every time I was doing something different, I was at different phases in my life. And every time the answer was, just keep doing what you're doing. I wanted something more concrete, right? Something like, your purpose is to memorize the 5th volume of the Encyclopedia Britannica, or your purpose is to build a bridge across the Amazon River, or something simple like, your purpose is to be the best mom you can be to your children. Then I'd feel like I had a task that I could maybe accomplish and be done, right? Wouldn't that be wonderful to know you just had one thing to do, and then you could, when you crossed over, it would feel complete. It would feel finished. You could feel really good about looking back on your life and know that you had done the right thing that you were here for. But alas, it was always just keep doing what you're doing. Even though it changed all the time, it still made no sense to me. Until I heard the phrase, you are a human being, not a human doing. That took a while for the penny to drop. But it started to make sense. Our purpose in life is to be, it's not to do. Now, I don't know why those illuminated guides and beings couldn't have just said that, but they didn't. And it's happened so frequently, they give you a little tidbit and then let you figure out the rest, because the figuring out the rest is part of being. So I got looking into what other spiritual sources had to say on the topic. There's quite a lot of consistency there, surprise. And even though each of these sources is remarkably consistent, I'd like to share each of them because each one says it a little bit differently. I'm hoping that one of them resonates with you. So here's some of what I found. In Matthew 22:36-40, it says, "Teacher, what is the greatest commandment in the law?" Jesus replied, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it, love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and prophets hang on these two commandments." The greatest commandment on which everything hangs is about how to be and not how to do. Jesus was not a thou shalt not kind of teacher. The original 10 commandments were all about doing. Thou shalt not, thou shalt not. Thou shalt not do X, Y, Z. But Jesus spoke of being. If you are being the kind of person who loves the way that Jesus loves, then doing those things comes naturally. All the thou shalt nots happen if you are being the kind of person who loves. So how about if we take a look at what the Bhagavad Gita has to say about life's purpose? This is from the website Path to Anandam. Many of us ask ourselves these questions at some point during our lives. Answers could be many, but one thing is for sure. Everyone ultimately wants to be happy and live peacefully. The best way to understand God's purpose for our life is to allow Gita to speak for itself, and we listen carefully. Gita is not a religion, nor does it profess to be a religion. It is a concept of the universe and the role human beings should perform in it. It explains how we may make the best of life with a purpose and draw fulfillment by living in synchronism with God's total creation. Peace and serenity of mind come with an understanding of God's creation. Understanding generates love for others, and love generates constructive energy to serve others without seeking any return. According to the Gita, the ultimate purpose of life is only to attain everlasting love, peace, and happiness. That's all. Just to attain everlasting love, peace, and happiness. Realize God, our true nature. This can be achieved by serving Supreme God through serving His creation. And to explain this further, I've taken the support of some quotes from Gita. "One who makes me the supreme goal of his life, who performs all his actions for me," and this is God speaking, "who is fully devoted to me and always lives in my consciousness, who is free from attachment and malice towards all beings and friendly to all, certainly attains me. Therefore, one must have a goal to attain that supreme state and remain steadfast in that state with prayers that resonates with, I surrender to the supreme being from whom this creation has emanated since ancient time." The question remains as to what prevents us from attaining that supreme state. Too many selfish desires, wants, anger, and greed are the triple gates of hell that lead to the destruction of the embodied self. Therefore, one should abandon these negative emotions. And who can attain the purpose of life and how? According to the Gita again. One who abandons all his selfish desires and becomes free from the feeling of I and my. Arrogance and unduly attachment to the materialistic world attains supreme peace. A person whose mind and intellect are completely merged with God, fully devoted to Him, who have full faith in Him and have God self-realization as a supreme goal of his life, then all of their impurities and sins are totally destroyed by self-knowledge, and he becomes very pure and reaches the superconscious state from which there is no return. Again, everything here is about how to be and not before what to do. It focuses on the being. So what about the teachings of the Buddha? The Buddhist purpose of life has to do with the meaning of the word Buddhi. Sorry, I just realized how that sounds when you say it. This word means to be awakened. So we can say the purpose in life for a Buddhist is to become awakened or to reach enlightenment. But what motivates Buddhists toward this direction is not the final destination. It's the beautiful unfolding journey that frees people from suffering. When we reach enlightenment, we're able to see the truth about life. We recognize what is real and what is eternal or infinite. This ability allows us to identify what is perishable and why we should be careful with it without any sense of attachment. Being awake allows us to establish what the priorities of our lives are and to value the permanent relationship we have with the unity that permeates us all. When you wake up, you no longer see suffering as an unjust pain inflicted on us by fate. You acknowledge that your suffering and the suffering of others happens only because there is a deviation from the path towards light and unity. Again, it speaks of being and not doing. There's a series of books I highly recommend. It's called The Life and Teaching of the Masters of the Far East by Baird T. Spalding. And in speaking of the Ascended Masters, Volume 4 has the following information. It's not necessary that one be with a master or contact a master in any sense to understand life and its possibilities. Life is perfectly understandable at every corner of the earth. It is omnipresent, and anyone may contact it if he will turn his attention in that direction and get away from the mere forms which life uses and through which life expresses. If you will take the simple attitude that all life that you can live is life and begin to exalt life, you will then be doing what you would do if you were living with the masters. There is nothing phenomenal regarding their life at all. Usually people going to them look only for phenomena, the doing. If we live life, we cannot help but understand life. Life is a process of inward force working itself out into outward form. It's the vital principle of the universe animating all space and all form. Life is always a matter of giving. To draw on the universal light that flows freely throughout infinite space is the privilege of anyone. In this way of living, life should be to receive from this source and then to give it out to all who are around. This is not only the work of the masters, but it is the work all men should be doing. This is living life as it should be lived, and really the only life there is. To merely receive from those about you is not life at all, but a constantly contracting existence. To seek life from the material world is to lose it. That's according to the masters. Now, this series of books was written in the late 1890s, so not only are these concepts a little bit esoteric and hard to express in English, the English then was a little difficult to express.
That's different.
But those books I would highly recommend to anyone interested. Or how about some words from just the Master Saint Germain, who has spoken on this quite a lot. He says, as we begin our communication together today with the awakened and acknowledged presence of your inner clarity, we discuss a profound subject matter, the meaning of life. It is only with the presence of inner clarity that this subject can begin to be comprehended. It is important for me to state that I am speaking of the meaning of earthly life and soul missions. We cannot dictate to another being what the meaning, purpose, or value of their life is. Even with the deepest connection to the Creator, acceptance of the Earth's consciousness, and exploration of the divine plan of the Creator, we still are unable to fully comprehend the purpose of their soul. It is not for you to even try to do so. With a connection to the Creator, acceptance of the Earth's consciousness, and exploration of the divine plan of the Creator, you have the ability to recognize the meaning of your own existence upon the earth. Therefore, we can recognize that it is within your being that your exploration can dive deep into, while it is your compassion, acceptance, and forgiveness that is required by others. I liked that. Those are required by others. You are only required to dig within yourself. And I like that he talks about it is not their responsibility to, and not even possible for them to answer the question of what is your purpose in life. Even if they are completely connected, they cannot tell you what your purpose is. Hence, my lack of answers. Depending on how you comprehend yourself and existence upon the earth, this will influence the level of meaning of your life you connect with. There is a version of your meaning of life within your emotional body, mental body, physical body, spiritual body, and soul. Each version will be slightly different and will bring forth fulfillment to the aspect of your being it is held within. When one aspect of your being is not fulfilling its meaning or purpose in your current existence, this is when disharmony and unbalance can manifest within your being and experiences. Each version of your meaning of life is akin to a puzzle piece. When all are engaged, activated, and energized, you feel complete upon the earth in your existence, feeling whole and balanced at a spiritual and physical level. To discover the meaning of your life, you can begin by asking in turn your emotional body, your mental body, physical body, spiritual body, and soul. What is your greatest goal in this current existence? What do you wish to overcome or heal, or what do you wish to embody fully? Taking time to connect with these 5 aspects of your being will allow you to build and form a picture of clarity, direction, and encouragement within your conscious awareness that will allow you to flow deeper into your truth. As a larger picture, vision, understanding, or knowingness awakens within your being, so you understand the divine plan of your existence. This will ignite greater comprehension of how you can be of service, how you can heal yourself, how you can experience fulfillment, and so much more. Saint Germain gets very detailed, doesn't he? When you experience a greater presence of peace within your being, especially your ego, then it is far easier to recognize the presence of the Creator in every moment of your existence. Peace within the ego is when the ego is no longer focused on survival and instead focused upon the presence of contentment and happiness. When your ego is focused on survival, this influences your entire being and reality in powerful ways, promoting experiences of challenge, pain, and suffering, as well as negative and destructive thinking and feelings of being unworthy, unloved, and undeserving. When you are experiencing ego's perception and focus on survival, each day you are distracting yourself from the true meaning of your life. Therefore, the focus of the ego of survival means the meaning of your life. You can call upon my energies and presence, Saint Germain, to heal and dissolve the energies of fear, separation, and drama you may be holding on to and embodying, as well as inviting me to realign your ego to its original purpose of supporting you in experiencing fully the meaning of your life. You can say the following: Saint Germain, or any words that resonate with you. Saint Germain, I call you forth to work with me during my sleep state from now on until your presence and service is no longer required. Please share the most appropriate healing with me to support me in the release of any energies of fear, separation, and drama. With ease and perfection, support me in making this energetic shift within my being. Saint Germain, I additionally invite you to dissolve the alignment of my ego to any negative aspects of survival and realign my ego to contentment, happiness, and supporting me in knowing, experiencing, and embodying the meaning of my life. I thank you in advance for the work you achieve with me. This request only needs to be made once to me, and I will begin the process during your sleep state, continuing until a greater sense of your meaning of life manifests in your conscious awareness. When I, Saint Germain, was in existence upon the earth, I realized that if I encouraged myself to be continually inspired and sort out experiences, people, and places that inspired me, then I was constantly in a state of expanded energy and able to connect with the Creator at a deeper level. This served me and encouraged me to realize that my inspiration and expanded energy and consciousness was being projected from within my being. I then realized that the feelings and awakening of inspiration were the Creator speaking to me and through me, an activation of Creator energy from within me. I began to seek inspiration from within my being. I found every aspect of my being, thoughts, emotions, and manifestations, and exploring them with great depth. The constant stirring of light, love, and connection within my being created a profound oneness and unity with the Creator that was born within me. The birth of the Creator within me was far greater than any experience of connection with the Creator I had previously experienced. I discovered myself as a true expression of the Creator, feeling myself adopting the power to inspire the awakening of the Creator within others. My journey continued to deepen into the depths of the Creator within me, and so my pathways before me became an expression of the Creator, filled with clarity, direction, peace, and meaning. Those words are going to ring really true in about a month when we celebrate Christmas and look at the birth of the Christ Spirit within ourselves, because that's exactly what Saint Germain is talking about here. So in reviewing this information from these wonderful spiritual sources, not only do we find that they consistently speak of ways of being and not of things to be doing, they also consistently speak of having a strong connection with the God force. Of course, they all use different terms for that, just like we do. But each of these sources speaks of our life's purpose as being the best ways to connect to God or universal energy or source or the Creator. And I hope that each of you finds your best way to just be and finds comfort in knowing that that is all that is asked of you. I hope you found something new to think about today, and thank you so much for the chance to share with you all. Now we can take a couple of moments here for a meditation. Kevin's got the cue down too. So as we join together to learn, grow, and heal, we prepare ourselves by getting comfortable in our seats and gently closing our eyes, knowing that we are protected and all is well. Our bodies relax into the seats, and we allow ourselves to feel fully supported. Take deep, slow breaths from your belly and feel your breath as it goes in and out. Breathe in the fresh, clean air and hold it a moment or two, and then slowly breathe it out. And as you do, you can feel all the tensions, stress you brought in with you just flow from your body. When thoughts pop into your mind, just let them go with your breath. And just let your breath follow its own natural rhythm. In and out. become still, lulled into peace and quiet with the gentle rhythm of your breathing. Your mind begins to open to receive the gifts of the Spirit. And today, we're asking for an answer to a question we've carried with us for a while. So gently and quietly allow that question to float into your mind. For you are in a protected place right now, surrounded by all that is loving and good. It's very inviting, and you want to explore. You see a set of 3 steps in front of you, and you carefully descend. Step 1, step 2, and then step 3. You find yourself in front of a beautiful pool. The pool seems to be glowing softly, and you feel yourself drawn towards it. The whole area feels serene and safe, and almost as though it's waiting for something. You notice an area next to the pool to sit on, and you sit and relaxed, looking around and enjoying the feeling. This is the most amazing place you have ever been. And now your mind turns gently to that question you've been carrying. You ponder it for just a moment, and you imagine the question as an image or engraving on a stone, which you find you're now holding in your hand. It feels solid, but not heavy. And paying close attention to the stone and its meaning, you turn slightly and gently drop the stone into the pool. Instantly, ripples cloud your reflection as your question stone descends. But as you watch, the surface of the pool clears. And in that clarity, you see an image that answers your question. You feel so amazed that the answer is right there. So simple, so elegant, so perfect. You feel the answer in every part of you. Take a moment to gaze into the pool and absorb the full meaning of this answer. With your question released and your answer uplifting your heart, it's time now to return your attention to the here and now. So you take one final look at this beautiful pool of reflection and rise and go back to the steps. And back up the steps. 1, 2, and then 3, and you are back on the landing. Take a deep breath. Become more aware of your physical body again. And one more deep breath, and open your eyes when you're ready. And you are back and feeling better than you have in a long time, holding that answer in your heart. Welcome home.